Hey guys, so in this video we'll be discussing the concept of string builder in Python. Okay, so in Java and languages like C hash, we have a predefined class to where we can import string builders, and we can actually use the string builder to create mutable strings and perform various operations on that. Okay, but in Python there is no such a predefined class, right? You cannot import something like that and just implement mutable strings, but in Python, there is a very similar definition to string builders as in Java. Like string builders in Python are considered when we build larger string using smaller strings. Okay, so basically, for example, if we have a list of strings, right, and if we form a bigger string from that, that is nothing but a string builder, right? So we have two or three ways of performing operations like that. Okay, so let us discuss them one by one. So basically, to form string builders, as I said, forming larger strings basically. So we have I'm going to discuss here three options. The first one is join method. Okay, the second is I'm going to use concatenation. Okay, the third and final one is I'm going to use string IO. What is string IO? This is basically a class, and which is, after importing it, we are able to perform read and write operations on string, and how it actually works we'll discuss it later on. But just for now, we are going to discuss these three operations. Okay, so let us begin by discussing join method. So how join method works is actually, join method is used, as the name suggests, to join set of strings. Okay, so what set of strings? So basically, to use join method we need iterable. Okay, we need an iterable. What is an iterable? So iterable is basically something on which we can iterate on. Okay, something we can access using for loop. So for example, we can access a list using for loop, right? So list is an iterable. Very similar, we can access it, we can iterate a tuple, right? Similarly, we can also iterate a string. So list, tuple, strings are all nothing but iterables. Okay, so we need an iterable to use join method. And how do we actually use is actually, we write the syntax something like this. First of all, we provide here some kind of string or some kind of character basically. So we can leave it empty, we can provide nothing, we can provide a space, we can provide a comma, or any kind of character, right? And after this is basically string, right? Or just a single character, as you can say it. Okay, after this what we do is we use join method like this, dot join, and here inside this bracket, what we do is we provide the name of the iterable, right? Here we provide the iterable. So what this join method does is actually, it joins the string and it joins the words of that iterable. Okay, so if that list, or for example, if I'm taking a list of words, okay, that is an iterable, right? It will take the words of that list and it will join them, and between all those words, what will be there? There will be nothing but this string that we have provided. Okay, this character that we have provided. So if you provide something like this, in between every string there will be this symbol. Okay, so for example, the list had A and B. So if we implement join method, we'll get A, B. Okay, something like this. So let's see how it actually works. Okay, so very quickly, I'm going to make a list, okay, of some words. Okay, just random words. So let us say ABC, uh ABCDEF, okay, GHI, and last one I'll take is JKL. So basically, English alphabets. Okay, now I want to join these, but I want a space between these four. Okay, I want a string containing all these four words and a space between them. So how do I actually do that? To do that, I'm going to make a string, and here what I'm going to do, as I said, I need a space, right? So what I can do is I can actually make a space here. Just use a space bar. Here I'm going to use join method. And what do we use inside a join method? We use an iterable. And what is iterable here? It is my list. So what this will do is it actually create a string. Okay, so I'll just use print, and when I print this my string, you'll see what actually happened. So as you can see, all the words have been joined together and we have formed this actually string. Okay, so we have formed larger string. So this is nothing but a string builder. Okay, this is one way of implementing string builder. Okay, or we can also use other characters, like as I said earlier, we can use arrows like that. Okay, so this actually, what can I do? I can do nothing here, right? So if I do something like this, so since I've done nothing, it will just write the, it will just join them and do nothing. Okay, and we can use other symbols, right? Let us see if it works for hash. So it worked. Okay, let us see if it works for this symbol. So it also works. Okay, so as we can see, we can use different symbols and create different string builders. Okay, so now let's move on to the next method. So as I discussed, after join, what we will do, we will see how we actually make string builders using concatenation, and that is also very simple. So all we need to do is, I want to iterate through this list, and to do that I'm going to just use for each loop and forward in my list. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make a string, my string here, and I'm just going to leave it empty initially. Okay, and here what I'm going to do, I'm going to add these words to the string one by one. Okay, this should be plus equals word. Okay, and if I print this, you'll see I'll get these strings, these words attached together. Okay, I can also provide a space after them. We'll get a very similar thing. So as you can clearly see, we have successfully built a larger string using these list of words. Okay, the last method that we are going to discuss is the string IO. So to do that, we have to actually import it. Okay, and how do we import it? We do that by doing something like this. From IO, we import it from IO, import string IO. And there are actually two methods of using string IO. Okay, the first one is we use it directly. The second one is we make a class for it. Okay, so let us do it directly first, and then we'll make a class for it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is actually take a object of this string IO. Okay, just simply do this. I have taken an object for this. Now to use string IO, we have certain keywords. For example, in string IO, we have write, which actually use something like add or append. It is used to add or append a word to the given object. Okay, so if we use like if we provide the object name and then we use write, we can actually add some kind of string that we want. For example, we can add hello. After that, we can also add world or something like that. Okay, so we can write words, which is basically adding words, and after adding, if we want to get the value of this object, so if we directly print the object, it will give something some random values, like it will give a reference of that object, right? We don't want that. We actually want the string that is inside this object. Okay, so to do that, we need get value. This get value will actually give me the string value. Okay, and this will return me the required string. So how does it actually works? Let's see. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to, as I said earlier, I'm going to write some strings here. So let us say hello, and after this I'm going to use, or basically write here world. Okay, and as I said earlier, to get the value of this, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use get value, and I'm going to print it. Okay, so this is actually a method, so need this. Now let's see what this actually gives. So you can clearly see we got hello world. This is another method of making a string builder. Okay, now let us quickly make a class for it. So to do that, I'm going to use class, and here let us name it string builder. Okay, since we are making a string builder of our own, let us use string builder. Inside this, what I need to do is, I need to provide, what I need to first, I need to provide a variable string. Okay, this is initialized as none. Okay, so none is very similar to null in Java. It is used to specify null values to string. Okay, now inside this I need to make some functions. Okay, what are those functions? So first thing I need to do is I am going to initialize the object for this class, and to do that I need init function. So init is used to initialize the object of this class. Okay, and to do that, this init is very similar to the constructors in Java that we have discussed. So if you have studied Java, you must know about the constructors, right? What they do, they basically initialize the objects, and that is very similar work is done by init here. Okay, so if we use init, and inside this init what we need to do is we need to provide a self keyword here. This is very similar to the this keyword. This keyword did what? This keyword was used to initialize the object, right? This self is used to do exactly the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to initialize this variable inside string builder, and what this will do, initialize it to what? I'm going to I'm going to make an object of this string io. Okay, so I have initialize the object of the string io, just very similar to that when we are doing it directly. Okay, we took a string, we used string io object, right? Here we are going to use a function for that. Okay, the next thing, I need a method to actually add them to our string builder, right? And to do that I'm going to make a function append. You can also name it add or anything that you want. Okay, so here I need self, and the next thing that I want to write str here. Why? Because I'm going to append a string, right? So that is why I have written str here. So I want to add strings, right? So after this what I'm going to do, I'm going to write self dot, again I'm accessing my current this string, right? That is why I have to write self, right? Okay, so self dot string dot write, since write is the write is the method that we use to actually add to our string. Okay, and here what I'm going to use, write str. Okay, very simple. And the last thing, I want to make a str method, and inside also I need self. What will this str do? It will actually return the string value of our object. As I said earlier, if we print the object directly, it will give some random value that we don't want. If we want the string value, we want this str, and here we'll return self dot string dot get value. Okay, this should be small. Now all we need to do is make a object for this, and we name it as b. So what we can do, we can append words here. So let us append hello. Okay, let us append hello, and after hello I'm going to append, let us say, an empty space. So I'm going to append an empty space, and at last after this space I'm going to append what? World. And now if I print it, I don't need to use get value now. Why? Because our function str is already doing that. Okay, so I just directly print as b. This will actually give me the string value. So let us see hello world. Okay, so this is how we actually implement string builders in Python. Okay, so if you guys like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.